Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel and welcome back to Memories of a Snowy Day by Ciao Bella. And this is a project for Scrap and Create. You can get all your supplies there. I'll have a link down below. There is also a link below to the cutting guide for this project, as well as some discount codes and things like that. So we have finished our pages and we have made our cover and wrapped the spine. So our next step is going to be to make the hinge and put the pages in the book. So let me set these pages aside. And we're just going to do a basic hinge. I do have a video on this, but I'm going to show you how I do it. This piece, so this is going to be in general for any sort of this style hinge. You want to make it 1/8 of an inch shorter than your pages. So our pages are 8 inches, so this piece is 7 7/8. And then I just cut it 12, okay? It's usually going to end up about 10. And then you have to decide how to, basically a couple of things. How much extra space do you want on either side to glue into the cover, which I usually do 1.5 to 2 inches. And then how much space do you want between the pages? And if I'm going to be putting lots of embellishments on the pages, flowers and wooden shapes, things like that, I leave a 1/2 inch in between. Otherwise, 3/8. And in this case, I don't have a lot of flowers and things, so 3/8 is going to be fine. So I am going to go with, I guess I have enough here. I'm going to go with 2 inches. So I'm going to score at 2 inches. So this is going to be glued into the cover. And then I'm going to do 3/8 inches between my pages. So I'm going to add 3/8. Whoops. Okay, and then for the fin, you're going to need 2 1/2 inch spaces. So I'm going to go 1/2 inch. So I am, sorry, I can't see. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so that's a 1/2 inch. And then a 1/2 inch. So that's 1 page. And then I'm going to go 3/8. So there's a space. Then I'm going to go a 1/2 inch. Where am I at? Here. And a 1/2 inch. So that's 2 pages. And then 3/8. Okay, and then 1/2 inch. And a 1/2 inch. So that's a 3rd page. And then 3/8 and a 1/2 inch and a 1/2 inch. That's our 4th page. And then I like to go 3/8 and then 2 inches from there. So I'm at 7 7/8 right now. And that takes me to 9 7/8 or 10. That's why I said it usually ends up about 10. And you don't actually have to score that last one. You can just cut it. But that's where that is, and I'm going to cut it on that last line. You can do all the math ahead of time if you want. And I can tell you right now, if you're going to do 3/8 and you have 4 pages, it's 10 inches will do you fine. But, you know, if you're going to do 1/2 inch, you're going to need a little more if you have more pages. So sometimes it's easier to just cut the whole 12 inches, score what you need, and cut off the rest. So now we have our piece. So I'm going to turn it over, and we are going to need 2 different size tapes. We need 3/8 and 1/4. And on this side, this is the side with the bumps, okay? So you've got 4 pairs of 1/2 inch, okay? And you want to put 1 piece of 3/8 inch tape in one of the pairs, okay? So there's 2 here, I put tape in one of them. I'm gonna have 2 here and put tape in one of these. And you want to try to be careful that you don't let your tape extend past this piece of paper. You can fold it back in if you have to, but it will show if it's overhanging. So Okay, so now we have 4. And what's going to happen is we're going to fold these together. And that's going to leave these 3/8 inch spaces. Okay, so I'm going to take my 1/4 inch. I'm not going to do the outsides, but I'm going to do this 1/4 inch. Oh, excuse me, I've got some sort of, looks like cat hair feathers on it. Hang on, not cat hair, cat toy feathers. Okay, I picked up a toy and threw it in my tool cart, and I think it had feathers on it. I know it had feathers on it. Okay. So I've got 3 3/8 inch spaces, and I'm putting a 1/4 inch tape in each of those. Okay. And we are going to need to put tape here, but we're going to skip that for the moment. Okay. Now we're going to turn it over. And you've got those pairs of 1/2 inch again. And what we're going to do is, let me, hang on, because I don't know how visible this is on screen. And let me just grab a scrap of something. And surely I have a scrap here somewhere. Here, I've got a paper bag. I was doing some crafting with that. And let me get... see if this Sharpie writes. It does. Okay, so you've got score marks, right? And there's 1/2 inch in between, like that. Okay, and then you're going to have a 3/8 here and a 3/8 here. So right here, there's a line, a score line between these 2 1/2 inch spaces. Okay, that is going to be the top of the fin. So you want to put your tape close to that line, not down here to the outside, but to the inside. Because when you put your pages on that fin, they are not going to go all the way to the bottom. We're leaving them up a little bit. So you want your tape up a little bit as well. So let me go ahead and do that, and you'll see a little bit. I mean, it's hard to tell, I think, with a dark paper like this. So I'm going to put one, and then I'm going to put the other one pretty close to it. They're right on either side of that line, like I just showed you. Okay, rather than, for instance, like, let's say this was my 1/2 inch. I'm putting these up against this line here in the middle. I'm not going to put them out here. Let me just put them down like this. Okay, that's not how you want it. Okay, you're going to want these together near the middle, like that. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense. Oops. All right, now let me do the others. And they don't have to be right on the fold, but they need to be closer to the fold than not. And again, try to avoid getting tape outside the paper, and also try to avoid stretching your tape. Okay, now we're done with our 1/4 inch. There. And then we're going to need tape in this 2 inch section plus this 3/8 inch section, which technically typically you don't need. The reason I do it is I feel like just having it helps me when I go to line up the spine or the hinge in the book. You could skip that if you want and just do 2 inches and then start in on your pages. And I am going to grab some wider tape for these areas. So now we're back on the side with the bumps. And I lost my tape tear. I don't know what I did with it. I think I know I was working on some projects away from where I normally work, and I think I left it there. Okay. And then we're going to put this one here. And you can use whatever size tape you want. I just happen to have 1 inch. I have a gap here, but I'm not particularly concerned about it. These 2 pieces are really going to hold this in place. And where I don't have adhesive here is going to be covered with a mat in any case. Lots of tape. And you could use glue for literally all of this. I like to use tape myself. I've never had a problem with a book falling apart using score tape. And if I were to make a mistake putting this hinge in, I can get it out with undo. Whereas if I use glue, that's it, I'm done. There's no fixing it. Okay, so now we are going to fold. So where we're folding is going to be between each of these pairs, okay? And that one. Oops, sorry, my little light here. All right, so we're gonna pull that off and fold. And I have a whole video on how to do this, but I'm basically showing you everything you need to know right here, I think. And then fold it like that. So now, as you can see, it's made a vertical fin, okay? Just looking out my window, it is so foggy. We are a couple of Saturdays to go until Christmas, I think. And today's Sunday. Yesterday was Saturday. I went out with my sister yesterday. I am going to do my cookie baking today because I want to give some packages with cookies and treats and things to some friends and my sister and stuff, so I'm going to do that today. And you can see all these gaps are going away and we're ending up with this solid tape all the way across. Now notice there is no tape in where the seam is, where these fold. You don't want any tape there. That's going to make it more difficult for these pages to turn. So resist the temptation to just do all this and then cover the whole back with tape. You don't want to do that. Well, you might, but I wouldn't recommend it. Okay, so now when you have all of these, you want to spend a minute or 2 or 3 or 4 just sort of playing with them, moving them back and forth, burnishing, because the more flexible they are now, the more flexible they're going to be in the book. So I don't spend too much time on it when I'm demoing because I want to, show you what to do. But take the extra time, pause the video, whatever you're going to do, and just play with these fins, get them nice and flexible, okay? Now, because we cut these short, it's 1/8 of an inch short, you should not need to trim any corners on your hinge. If you do, you can go ahead and do it, but it shouldn't be necessary. Okay. So, what did I do with my cover? I had it in my hand a minute ago. There it is. Okay, so here's our cover. We've covered our spine with rice paper. It's still a little shiny, but that's okay because we're going to mat it. And this needs to be centered here. And this is where having these extra score lines just makes it a little easier for you to kind of gauge where you're at on the top and bottom in terms of getting it in and getting it straight. And you want it centered side to side and top to bottom. I feel like that looks pretty good. So usually what I will do is find where I think it looks good and then draw a line. Then, just to be sure I'm straight, because eyeballing is all well and good, but that doesn't mean it's straight. So that's 2 5/8, and it's a hair out at the top, just the tiniest hair, but enough for me to not want that. So I'm just going to draw a little line, just like that. And now I know that if I line this edge there, along the line I drew, and centered top to bottom, I should be pretty good. So we're going to remove just one piece of tape. I'm going to hold this kind of up so it doesn't stick, and I'm going to line it up with the line I drew and try to make sure it's reasonably well lined up from top to bottom, and I think it is. That looks good. Burnish, and then I'll go in and get the rest of the tape. And I like to do it with just a little of the tape off at a time at the beginning. And once you've got that first section done, you can take off all of it if you want. Because if I mess that up, I only have a little bit to take off. I don't have to take this whole thing off. Now, when this is going down, you want to make sure that it is flat and smooth, but don't stretch it, okay? There. Oops, my neighbor with his big noisy truck is going out. Okay. Now you just want to burnish. Make sure my cover is still a little tacky because I did not leave it to dry as long as I normally would because I wanted to keep going because I want to make my cookies today. So you're hearing sort of creaky sounds from the slightly tacky cover. There. Okay. Perfect. Okay. And then we still need to, of course, the inside, front, and back cover, but we can do that after we get the pages in. The inside back cover, I'm going to do stacked pockets, probably 2, maybe 3. I haven't decided on the inside front. I kind of like leaving those plain, but we'll see. So let's put our pages in. Okay, so first off, double and triple check that you are right side up. Okay, so that is page 1, page 2, page 3, page 4, page 5, page 6, page 7, page 8, and I like to put my pages in starting at the back of the book and going to the front. So we are going to start here. I'm just peeling back a little bit of the tape. Probably should have test fit first, but I'm pretty, famous last words, I'm pretty confident it's going to fit. You know what, this flap I just want to lift up to make it a little easier on myself. Can't see. That on? I think that's on. Okay. There we go. And you just want to put this down to about 1/8 of an inch from the bottom. Try to make sure the first one's a little tricky because you want to make sure it's straight, but you don't really have much to line it up against. There we go. And then turn it over, get a tool, get in there, and pull out the other side of the tape. Okay, there we go. And then this one. And I am going to test fit. I don't have any reason to believe it's not going to fit, but it's always a good idea. And that is good. And again, to about 1/16 to 1/8. The bulkier the page is, the more distance you want to leave it from the bottom. So if it's a really bulky page, you might want to leave a full 1/8. If it's kind of a plain page with not a lot going on, you might want to leave just a 1/16. And again, all that creaking you're hearing is my the tackiness of this rice paper sticking to my glass. A lot of times I will do that, you know, put the rice paper on at night and just leave it overnight and then just continue working the next day, but I didn't do it last night. I don't know why I didn't do it last night, because I had the cover all made last night. I could have. Okay. Go. This is such a pretty collection. Go. And the last one. I always feel like, well, I was going to say, I feel like the book really comes together when you put the pages in it, but I guess, duh, it does. That is when the book comes together. Okay. There. All right. That looks really nice. I am happy with that. Okay. Well, let me go ahead. I'm going to cut the pieces now for the inside back cover. That's the stacked pocket. Let me go ahead and do that. And I will be right back and we'll put that in. Okay. So these are 9 3/8 by 5 and by 3 3/4. And just put that up there. Okay. I had my sweater there and it was in the way. I should get out my big one, but that's okay. All right, so I'm going to do one long edge, a 1/2 inch. Everything's at 1/2 inch unless I ever tell you otherwise. I'm going to do the same with this one. Oops. I just realized my audio is not recording. That's so strange. Hang on. Okay. Half of this may be on my camera microphone instead of on my good microphone, because that didn't seem to be recording. That was weird. Okay. There. Okay, so there's our 2 pockets. And we'll need 3/8 inch tape. What do I do with it? There it is. And there are lots of ways to do stacked pockets where you can fold them and various things like that, where you have less bulk, but I don't mind the bulk, and I'd rather have the volume to put things in the pockets. Put that piece of tape down pretty crooked. That's all right. Trim the corners. Now, before we glue anything, let's check it for fit. It's going back here, and that is going to fit very well. Okay. Actually, we might as well put it down as I have it. So this is an 8.5 cover, and I cut this an inch larger, less than 1/8. So that's why instead of 9.5, it's 9 3/8. That way we can be sure not to interfere here. So we are going to take just the corner tape off here and line it up down here. And it's going to be just a hair up from the bottom and just a hair in from the side. And then I'm going to stack the smaller pocket on the top of that. And you could do this first and then put the whole assembly in if you want, which I often do. Give this a good burnish, make sure it's nice and flat. this one is just going to get lined up directly on top of the one that we just put in. Right, so now we have our stacked pockets, so we need mats for there, and we need a mat for here, because I think I am just going to leave that plain, but you could put another pocket there if you want. And of course we need mats for the front and the back. I'm not going to mat the spine, I think the rice paper looks nice. Okay, we have time, so give me a minute, I'm going to pick out mats, and we will keep going. I am back with the mats, and it is days later. Things have just been crazy for me with the holidays. Anyway, so this is what I cut, and as you can see, I cut it from one piece, and remember, this is more than 8 inches wide, so this was cut from a 12 by 12, and what I did is I started at the bottom, and I cut, of course, all of them are 8 1/4 wide, because these pockets are 8 3/8. So this is 3 1/8, okay, and then this one I cut from the, immediately above it, and that's 1 3/4, and then this one is 4 5/8. Okay, so that's how I cut those, and I need to ink them. Those down. And of course you don't have to do a continuous design like I did on this one. You can do whatever you like. That's just what I chose. I almost did the bottom. I don't need to do the bottom. You will never see the bottom. Okay. That's going to go in there. And this one is going to go in here. And then this one is going to go here. I know several of you have reached out to me because it's been quite a while since I posted a new video, and I appreciate that. And obviously I'm just doing fine. Just been really busy with running around, getting Christmas shopping done, doing some baking, that kind of thing. And of course I'm busy with work. You know what? I think I need a new baby wipe. Anyway. I was working today, speaking of work, and I work just on the other, I work from home, my day job, and just on the other side of the room, I work in here. This is my office, my craft room, I do everything in here. So anyway, so I'm working, and Jolly, my cat, as you all know, is very needy. She's howling her head off. And I had read, because I was a little worried, because I've never had a cat who meows as much as she does and demands so much attention. And I don't mind. I mean, I adore her, so that's fine. But I was a little worried that maybe something was wrong. So I kind of Googled, and it was like, well, if your cat's healthy, and she is healthy, and she's not trying to tell you she's out of food or water, and she wasn't out of food or water. It's just an attention-seeking thing. And, best to not give too much attention at that time. Wait till she's quieter. I'm like, okay, I can give that a shot. Not thinking how clever my girl is. So I wasn't you know, giving her a lot of attention while she was meowing, and she got up here, she's on the other side of the room, so I didn't see her, I had my back to her, got a hold of one of my 12 by 12s and started tearing it to shreds. I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. I should have just petted her. Okay, there you go. It's like having a toddler, but I adore them, so it is what it is. Okay, there's the inside back cover. Now, the inside front cover, I have something in mind. I've not done anything exactly like it before, so I'm a little unsure of exactly how I'm going to proceed, so we may figure this out together. But I do know one of the things I'm going to need is just a mat for the whole thing. So let me see what I've got. And I haven't even had a chance to see which piece of paper it was that little miss was tearing to shreds this afternoon. She didn't get much because I caught her early on. Well, you know what? I don't even see it. Hopefully it wasn't this one that I was kind of saving. Nope, it wasn't. Okay. Okay. Whoops. Inside front cover. So it's got to be a 12 by 12, remember, because we've got I don't really want to use that. I don't mind that side because I don't want to have something that we featured further back too much. Anyway, so it needs to be big enough because of that's too yellow, the size. I don't want that. I've got this one with the little houses that we haven't used at all yet. This looks like it's in 2 different scales. I don't care for that. If I have it in the smaller scale. No, I don't think so. Too busy. I think I may go with this, because it goes well with that, and we're going to put something on top of it. So, all right, so let me just cut that so we have that taken care of. So this is 8.5, so it must be 8 3/8. Okay, so let me cut an 8 3/8 square. Okay, so that's going to go there. Did I cut that too big? No, I think it's okay. Okay, so that's going to go there. And then, like, I have, what I was thinking is a flap, maybe about this size, but make that flap a window pocket. You know, I like my window pockets with the vellum. I have a piece of vellum sitting on my desk and it's just been talking to me. So I'm thinking that might be, but I have to decide exactly how I want to go about it. But I kind of like this size. So how big is that finished? 6. So that's perfect because that would be 12 folded in half if I do it the way I'm thinking. Let me get a piece. We're going to play with it. We're going to figure this out. All right. Let me put this off to the side for a moment. Yikes. I just like knocked everything off. Okay, and let's score this in half. This doesn't work. You may never see this. Okay, because I have no idea. Okay, so I'm going to score it. Whoops, score it in half. Oh my goodness, this is why I don't like this cutting board. I just jump right out of the tracks. I mean, the scoreboard. Anybody else have that problem with this thing? Okay. Fold it in half. And it's going to be a flap, so I'm going to have to add a gusset. I could have built one in, but I think it would have been harder. And
Okay, so that's 8.5 inches tall. And I'm gonna want 1/2 inch flaps. All right, so if that's 8.5 and I need 2 1/2 inch flaps, that's 1 inch. So I need to cut this height to 9.5. All right, let me do that. Okay, 9.5. Let's get my nemesis back out here. So I always use the little one. And I am going to unfold it, and we're going to score these two at 1/2 inch. Okay, hang on. What do you think? What was that? Wasn't this supposed to be 9.5? And I made it, what did I do? Cut it at 8.5? I did. No, nuts. Okay, hang on. I gotta make another one. Okay, just went ahead and cut it to 9.5, and now I'm gonna score it at 6. Then we are going to score it at 1/2 inch at either end. So 1/2 inch, and 1/2 inch. Okay. And we're going to fold it in half. Get rid of this. Okay. And then we are going to need to cut off one of these 1/2 inch fins from each side. And I want, if I know what I did with them, I would have liked to have used larger scissors, but I think I took them downstairs to do Christmas wrapping. No, I see them. Hang on. Okay. So I am just going to follow the line of the score line. And when we get to this center score line, I'm just going to angle out like that. Okay. Okay. There's that. Now, these will come in. Essentially, we're making a pocket that's all one piece. Okay, that's going to go like that, but we're not going to glue it yet. And then we're going to have to add a fin to attach it into the book. But what I want to do is make a window on the front so that we can see through it. What? See, this is what I'm talking about. She's bored. I'm sitting here, and she's going to meow her head off. All right. So I don't want... No, and here she is stepping on the computer that is recording our audio. So, how big? I don't want like just a narrow little border. I don't want the window too big. And I'm thinking maybe not even centered. Maybe just to one side, like a long, narrow. Stop. Sorry. I'll put her out if she doesn't stop. Okay, she left. Let's look at our cut aparts. Hang on. have these. They're not that tall though. I'm thinking like to show through. What have you got? Sorry about that. Okay. I think I'll do that. I don't know what, I have no idea what I'm going to use to show through it. Maybe something like that. But, so I'm thinking something, a window about like 6.5 inches tall. This is 8.5. 6.5 would leave us an inch at the top and an inch at the bottom. I think I want, or that's an inch. I think I want a hair more. So maybe a 6 inch, maybe 1 1/4 from the top and 1 1/4 from the bottom. I think that's pretty good. And then make it in an inch and make it just 2.5 inches wide. Did any of you take notes? Because I don't remember what I just said. Hang on. Oh, that's a different project. That's one of my Patreon albums. That's Sir Vagabond in Japan, which we haven't got to yet. I don't know where Snowy Day is in here. That's Yuletide. Okay, well, I'm just going to make a page. Let's see. Snowy Day window pocket. Excuse my poor handwriting. Okay. So this is 8.5 inches tall, we decided, right? 8.5. And we're going to make the pocket kind of long and skinny. And it's going to be, what did I say? 1 1/4 from each. 1 1/4. 1 1/4 here. And 1 here. And we're going to make it, what did I say? 2.5 inches wide. Should I make it 3? I mean 2.5? 2.5 or 3? If I have a 1 inch here and then I go 1, yeah, 2.5. Okay. And this is going to be 2.5. Okay. Now I have my measurements in case I lose my way. Mark that. Okay. Now, question becomes, do I want to mat this first and then cut it out? Because I think it would probably be a little easier, but it would also limit what we do with the mat. So no, we are going to cut it out first, then we are going to mat it. Okay, so what I need, I think a clear ruler would work for this. Use my tip holes. And we are going to be matting the inside, so I can make lines here. So this is 1 1/4 inches actually. I don't like this ruler, it's too thick. Hang on. Alright, so I know I wanted 1 inch from this side. So let me go ahead and draw that. And it's going to be 1 1/4 inches from this. So that's there. Okay. And it's going to be 2.5 inches wide. This ruler is, all of the markings on it are wearing off. What on earth? Oh, hang on. Okay, I'm back. She's destroying things. Okay. 2.5. And I can hardly see the lines on this ruler, but I think part of that is just, well, they're wearing off and I'm blind, so it's a combination. Okay, and then I need 1 1/4 and 1 1/4 on this side. Okay. I don't know if I got that straight or not. Let's see. Okay. So now we need to cut that out. And usually I like to do that on a self-healing mat, not on my glass mat, but it should be fine. Let me find... Okay. And I am going to cut this and hang on. All right. Be very careful with the craft knife. I will be right back. I'm going to cut this off camera because I have to put my head right over it. Okay. We've cut our window. That's going to go there. So now we need, we're going to put a piece of vellum back here, and then we're going to put a mat as well. But the mat's got to have a matching opening because we want to be able to look through that vellum. And then we need a mat on the front. Let's do the inside first. Cut my vellum 4 inches wide, and I'm going to put it 7 inches long. Okay, however, before we do that, we want to, before we glue it down, we want to do our mat. Now, let me think. Actually, we don't need to mat the inside because this is a pocket, not a flap. I was thinking it was a flap. It's a pocket. Okay, so we can just glue that down. But I don't want to glue this down yet because I want to use this to help me cut my piece that's going here. So let me pick something for that. Alright, let's see. Alright, let's see. This piece is going to be too small because that's 8.5. So it's got to be, that's not doing it for me. And remember, we still have the cover to do. I don't like the gold. That's from a totally different collection. It happened to be there. I didn't like the houses. They were a little too busy. I do like this. I like this, but I don't think it's wide enough. Let's see. This is too yellow. This is like right where we're doing this already. The same thing, I think. Look at it. 12. Cut apart. thinking of this for the cover, so I'll set that aside. Alright, where's the book? So this is here. Yeah, that's there. So I don't really want to use this because it's right there. And the other side is too yellow, so that's out. And I think this piece is too narrow. Let me see. Oh, it's not too narrow. So we totally could use that and then put things on top of it to make it more interesting. Okay, that's what we'll do. That way we don't have to cut into a 12 by 12. Okay, so what we are going to do is I'm going to cut this. I'm going to cut this to the exact size, which we'll trim down later. So it's 8.5 by 6. Okay, we'll do that. Okay, do that. And what we're going to do is put this in here. And it's okay if it's sticking out a little, that's fine. Okay. But, hang on. Actually, this side is super cute. I'll use that side instead. Be a little bit more lively than the trees. Hang on. Because I know we have that elsewhere. Let me see. Not until here. And it's... Oh, but it's almost the exact same situation, flap-wise. Okay, so no, we're going to go with the trees. Okay. Okay. Trees it is. All right. So this is going to go like this. I don't really like making a pencil mark right on the front, but I am going to ink it, so I think it'll be all right. So I'm just going to tuck that in exactly where I want it. And then I'm going to trace around that. And I am going to cut this out, and I'm going to cut off the line. So I'm just going to be just off the line when I cut. Okay. Put that aside, and cut this. Okay, there's that. Now this just needs to be trimmed a little bit on each edge because I made it exact size. But before I do that, I'm going to put the vellum in because that'll help me see it. Okay, this is going to go in here like that. And the way I like to do that, right, is my glue not cooperating? There we go. You don't want to put it too close to the edge because it will spread a bit, and you can add some more, but this way we'll at least get it down. Okay. And look at my... All right. And there. It's important that you get especially this edge, these upper edges really well glued down because you don't want things catching on it when they go into the pocket. Okay. Okay, that's good. All right. Now you can go in and put a little glue on the this part here if you want. For now, I'm going to leave it. I can add it later if I want to. But what I need to do is check this for size. I know it's the wrong size because I cut it exact size and I want it smaller. So what I'm going to do is cut just like 1/16 of an inch off each of the 4 sides. Do not cut off only like 2 sides because then your center window will be out of whack. Okay, there we go. Perfect. That is perfect. Okay, let's get that inked. Sorry about the school announcements. It's that time of day. Okay. That is going to go there. That looks good. Oops, did not get that centered very well. I'll call that good. Okay. Now, on the back, we are going to need to mat something. We're going to have to put the little hinge piece. And we're going to add more to the front, but for now, I think we can close it up. Okay. And you could use glue to close it. I'm just going to go ahead and use tape. And I do want to trim those corners, so I'm just going to go ahead and put my tape at an angle. Okay. And trim the corners. I don't know why I'm using these giant scissors to trim my corners. And there it is. Okay, and then we're going to close this up. And you could put a, a thumb hole if you want. I'm not, obviously. That mat down very straight at all, but I'm fine with that. Okay, and now we need a mat for here. I didn't realize I still have this piece. I think that's going to be too yellow. I have this piece that I was thinking of for one of the covers. I don't think either of those. so many pieces I was thinking of for the covers, it's kind of ridiculous. What are we going to use? No, I could use an 8 and double matte. What have I got for 8s? I don't think I have much in the way of stuff for 8s either, though. I always get to this stage and I think I'm going to have so much paper left, but then I don't. Okay, let's see. I'm going through my scraps here. Could use that one on the cover, double matted. I really quite like this guy, that's why I'm kind of avoiding using it. Pretty sure I want it for the cover. But that's too yellow. We have that one. Okay, let's see, is that big enough? Yep, just barely big enough. Okay, let me cut that. You know what I wanted to do, and I didn't do it, and I should have done it before I glued this thing shut, is I wanted to put a mat inside the pocket that would be visible when I don't have things in the pocket. Alright, I can open it up with undo, but we might be able to just get something. And this is just a hair narrow, but I am fine with that. But we don't want to put this down yet, because we need to put our hinge. So I need a piece, 1 inch. 1 inch will do, or a little wider, by 8.5. I cut it at 1 1/4 because that's easier on my trimmer, and I cut it 8 3/8. I just need to score this in half. So half of 1 1/4 is 5/8. Fold it in half. And trim. Okay. And we just want to make sure we're on the fold. We just want to attach this here. Okay? And I think I'll use a combination because I cut it wider than any of my tape. So I'll use a combination of tape and glue. And I'm going to put the tape to the inside. And I'm going to find my tape tear. It's around here somewhere. Okay. And while I'm at it, because we're going to have to tape the other side as well, let me just make sure. Okay, that's going there. Yeah. Okay. Now I need to glue this here. So I am going to do this. I have a feeling this is probably a long video. But that's okay. Because we'll be done with everything except the covers and the embellishing. And the embellishing doesn't usually take too long. Sometimes it does. I don't know why I say that. Okay. And I cut this just a hair short, so it's not going to go quite to the end. There we go. And that's going to go like that, so that's perfect. And then we can put our mat here. Let's make sure we are right side up. What I do not have for this, I didn't put a magnet or any method of closing this thing. The weight of it may do. If it doesn't, then I will figure that out after. Because it's laying pretty flat on its own here. Alright, I want to put something in there. I kind of avoided using these two because I didn't want it to look like a romantic album, but if you do, that would be perfect for that spot right there. I still could use it. Alright, let's see, what else do I have? We have the, I think this is too short. Houses. We have this, but I'm thinking of fussy cutting some of this to put on the outside actually. So I don't think I'll use that. Fussy cuts. He's going to be on the cover, so I don't know as we want to feature him right on the inside cover as well. Although, gosh, that's cute. And I might use this size on the outside. I'll go dithering. We have the swan. Oh, that's pretty. Now, you should do this prior to closing up this pocket. And I could open it up with some undo, and I probably should. I think I will. Just because it only takes a minute and I'll get a better result. I only have to do one side, I think. Alright, so hang on. Alright, I'm doing that and I'm noticing the this mat is not down very well. I'm going to have to go through and adjust that. Okay, so I think I can get away with doing it this way. So is this, I think the size is fine. I don't need to ink it or anything. Let me put that there to make sure it doesn't reglue itself. I need some more. This is practically empty, so it keeps falling over. Okay. so you'll remember, and I'll remember to put it on the screen, to do this before you put your pocket together. Okay. That's fine right there. Okay. So burnish that down. Oops. There we go. And then that's good. Okay, now I just, you know what, instead of tape, I'm just going to use glue to put it back together. Nice. Okay. And then I need to check this because it seems like it wasn't down very well along the top here. Let me see. Got this little bottle with the... This is also our glitter glue. It's just in a bottle with a finer tip. That's better. Okay. How's the other end? Looks like I could maybe use a little too. Guess that one's okay. I can't get the tip under it, so okay. There. All right. Front cover. Or not front cover, but inside front cover. So let's go ahead and do that. And then we'll stop for the day, and we will do the actual covers next time. This is going to go right along this outer edge. Slide that over. All right, and I've already got tape on it. And hang on. Just want to get this. Hopefully you can see. And it's okay if it's in a little bit. Lined up. Like that. And it is lying nice and flat, even without any kind of a closure. So I think we're fine. And that's going to go there. My concern is when we lift it up, see how it's flipping? Okay, so we're going to put a magnet here. And I'll cover it with an embellishment and then a magnet here. And I just got my box of magnets the other day. I think I left it downstairs. I'll be right back. Alright, I'm back with my magnets. Try to remember to put it under the mat so you don't have to worry about it. I get so anxious to see things that sometimes I forget stuff. Okay. I'm not worried about it because I was going to embellish this a lot anyway, so there we go. Let me slide that down first so you can see. So I'm just going to put one over here, and again I'll hide it later with something, but I don't want the tape to be too big, that way I can hide it with something relatively small. Okay, so that's going there. Okay, and this is going here, and I have got to fix that. My little knitting needle cap that I'm using is filled with glue. I need to clean it. And ink. gonna go like that, without that. And that's our front cover. So it's gonna open like that, and this is a pocket. Perfect, and this is a pocket as well. So, all right. Looking good. Oops, I got something stuck on my cover. All right. That is that. I feel like this has probably been a long video. So, next time we will embellish stuff. We will do our covers. Hopefully we'll do our insides. I don't know how long the cover is going to take, but I think we'll be able to finish up next time. So, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to visit Scrap and Create, where you can get all your supplies for this album. I will have a link down below. And there is a link to the cutting guide for this project down below as well. I have a discount code for this beautiful glass mat if you want one. I love this thing. And my Amazon links, my Patreon, all that stuff is linked down below. So thank you so much for watching. I will see you next time. Bye-bye.